All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the 360 Sports Show here on Super Bowl Sunday, February 7th, 2021. I think a lot of us weren't sure if we'd get. Yeah, I think we were sure we would get to this day, maybe. But Super Bowl Sunday itself, kind of hard to believe given the nature of things. But alas, here we are, Super Bowl Sunday. I am Andrew Pizzelli. He's Christian Lauber. You can reach us anytime throughout the show. We're coming to you live through Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Twitch. You can drop a comment in the live stream there at any point, and your questions will get to us already right away in the comment section from Colin. Hey guys, any big games today? Yes,
Celtics play the Suns at 2 p.m.
One very, very big game today later on in the afternoon. So we will be getting to the Super Bowl discussion. Please send us Super Bowl questions. Let those build up here in the comment section. You can always reach us by email at the360sportshow@gmail.com at any point as well. We are going to hit on, as Christian noted there, some NBA stuff, NHL stuff, some college news this week as well. We're going to try and just get right through that so we can get to the Super Bowl. Lots to talk about with the Super Bowl here happening today between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That game's slated for a 6:30 p.m. start. So we'll be giving you our extended preview during today's episode. Today's show will also be made available as a podcast through Sounder FM or wherever you get your podcast from. And also, we'll be mentioning this throughout the episode here today, we will be doing a Super Bowl reaction show. So we're doing kind of our final word here today, 11 to 1, as we're usually live on Sundays. And then with the game happening right away tonight, we're going to hop on the air tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m., right back here through Restream. We will be bringing you our Super Bowl reaction. So after the game, if you have questions, thoughts, want to talk about it as well, you can join us tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. for the game. And so we're already getting a whole bunch of great questions piling up in the comment section, Super Bowl related. We will get there. We promise you. We will get there. We have other news we have to get through quickly as well, and we will start with the NBA. Christian, we are kind of like just past the quarter pole of the season in the NBA. Who's the best team so far? Who's the best in the East? Who's the best in the West?
Well, if you ask me the West, I still say the Lakers. I mean, they're still at the top of the standings here, right with the Jazz somehow. But I still take the Lakers in a 7-game series against any other team in the West. In terms of the East, at this point, I have to say the 76ers. I think, with Doc Rivers coming in, I think Embiid is raised to another level here where he's been more consistent. Whereas in the past, he's just kind of like that guy that kind of dogs it every now and again. This year, he's been very, very good. And obviously, when you're that big and you can shoot, you're going to dominate some games. But he's been very good. So I have to say the 76ers at this point in time, whether that holds up, I mean, we know the Sixers, so who knows? But, the West is the easy one. I mean, it's the Jazz are technically the first seed in the loss column, but the Lakers, to me, are just the best team.
Yeah, I got to agree. I mean, the Nets, what are they now? I mean, I think before that trade, we were looking at them like, listen, oh my God, Kyrie and Durant are top dogs. All these other guys are buying in. The Nets look unstoppable. They trade a bunch of guys. They bring in James Harden. Guess what? Their defense goes to crap. That team is just, hey, they score 120 points a game. They also give up 118, the most in the league.
Most on both sides, by the way.
Yeah, not good. And so who knows if they can figure things out. I'm sure they'll make tweaks at the trade deadline. But until then, you're right. Philly, Doc Rivers, early Coach of the Year candidate. I mean, because that team was looking like, oh my God, can you keep Simmons and Embiid? Should they just blow it up? Best record in the East, and they've played and beat every other major team so far in the Eastern Conference. So they have staked their claim for the moment atop the Eastern Conference, and they could hold that, and they could respectfully be the best team. In the West, I agree. It's still LA. The Lakers. The Clippers showed you against the Celtics who they still are, which is chokers.
No Paul George in that game, though.
Would it have mattered?
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, Kawhi was a monster in like that second half scoring. So if you figure Paul George is there, he's taking those shots and probably still making them as well. So,
sure. I don't know. I think Paul George is a high level guy in the league. So
yeah, but I agree. It's still the Lakers. Utah it seemed they're heading for that like Atlanta 2016, 2017 Atlanta Falcons, Atlanta Hawks thing. We're the number
Yeah.
one seed, and you get swept by LeBron.
Yeah.
Is it? We won't know yet. If this is fool's gold or not. Maybe they're this year's Miami Heat, a team that without fans, a team that plays hard. They always play good defense. They're one of the best defensive teams in the league under Quinn Snyder. With no fans, hey, you put this team in a full season, they could win, however many, 70, they could win 58 games out of 72.
Yeah.
You never know. But then you get into the playoffs, they start really playing the best teams in a 7-game series. Who knows? But we'll see if that holds.
Long way to go.
Who's your early season MVP for the NBA right now?
Well, I mean, it's like a broken record here, but LeBron James is at the top of the list, and I'd say probably Embiid on the other side. If you went East and West, just competition there, those two guys are probably in the conversation, and it feels like a broken record at this point to say LeBron James's name, but the guy he's kind of like a Tom Brady. He's kind of like Tom Brady in the way that he keeps getting better. It seems, which is crazy. He's just. The guy's an absolute freak athletically, and I think it'd be ridiculous not to put his name in the NBA MVP conversation.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, same like we've talked about Brady. You start to forget how great he is and how great he's been around. We've said for years, you could have named Brady MVP and Belichick Coach of the Year every single year. Same with Greg Popovich. He could be named Coach of the Year in the NBA almost every single year. LeBron, I think he won a whole bunch of MVPs in a row. And I think there was kind of like people, let's kind of, and there were other guys deserving, but it's been a while. LeBron, last time he was MVP, 2013. That's 8 years ago.
Giannis has taken over here.
And he's been deserving the last few years. 100%. Not like, oh, LeBron again, but like actually like, wow, he's not getting MVP. It's kind of like, it seems like they're maybe trying to just kind of ignore that. Ignore him. I agree. I think he's definitely going to be MVP this year because his age, what he's averaging, and he's doing it at both ends of the floor. Wow. Last NBA little tidbit. Have you kept an eye on this Kevin Durant situation? We've lauded the NBA for their COVID stuff and how they handled the bubble and all of that. Great. This situation is a complete failure of the protocols. Like protocols, bad. In this scenario. So in case you weren't, nobody is aware, Kevin Durant was a close contact of somebody who was put in a COVID protocol. Durant tested negative a whole bunch of times in a row, and he was held out of the start of a game. I think it's the Raptors,
Raptors, yeah.
Then the guy who was the close contact comes back inconclusive, at which point they determine, hey, you know what? It's safe for Durant to play. He plays 2 quarters of the game, then the other guy's test comes back, no, wait, it's positive, and then they yank Durant from the game, and the NBA says, oh, out of an abundance of caution, we decided to remove him from the game. And everybody called that rightfully. Abundance of caution? So then why was he playing in the first place? Why were we even playing this game, as James Harden said? Really, really, really bad look. They have to rewrite that protocol right now, because if a guy's inconclusive, logic tells you he shouldn't be playing. Just hold him out or don't play the game. Really bad failure.
Yeah. For all the credit we've given to the NBA, this one was a mess up by somebody. I don't know who, but the whole league, I'd say, is kind of on the hot seat for that one. I think you just got to pull Durant and say if he's a close contact, he shouldn't play, and you save yourself a bunch of time. Now, chances are, I mean, you don't really know how it works, but chances are, if Durant had a bunch of negative tests, would it have come back positive during the game? Who knows? But if he's testing negative that day and you put him in the game and then you yank him halfway through, I don't know what that accomplishes. So
no, nothing.
Just kind of a strange situation. I mean, you either let him play or you don't. You can't just have him like, all right, Durant, go in there first 2 quarters and then we'll pull you out. No problem. Yeah, that's just not how it works. So it's kind of a weird look for the NBA.
Yeah, now he's out for at least a week. So he should be back or available next Friday. He tweeted after that game, sent to the locker room. He was very frustrated. Free me. Last little thing, NBA. I know you'd like to hit on it. A little Celtics minute here before we move along. Happy for, I think it was a good win for the C's against the Clippers. They play again today against the Suns. They could easily let everybody down because they're kind of doing the seesaw thing right now.
Yeah.
But I thought big win. The Clippers, one of the best teams in the West. They got down big. They battled back, had an excellent third quarter, and it started with their defense. I thought Tatum without Jaylen Brown there looked very Jaylen Brown-esque. Composed, attacking the rim. Very few times he settled for shots. And if I did think like, oh, why are you shooting the three there? He nailed it. So can't fault the guy for taking it and making it. And kind of hung in the balance there in the fourth quarter. I think if they had ended up choking that game away because Kawhi was a beast, I would have been disappointed because it was like, this would not have been a moral victory or a moral loss because you were down, then you took a lead. They were up 10. You would have choked it away. So to hang on, win a game late against a really quality team, we knock them when they don't do it, credit when they do. So big, good, solid building block win for the Celtics, especially shorthanded as well.
Yeah, 2-1 on the West Coast swing here, and they've got, I think, 3 more, starting today with Phoenix. But they got to win some of these games now because they're kind of teetering here a little bit. And the way things are going, I don't even know where they are in the standings. Maybe 6th, 7th. Now, that's kind of where I put them anyway. No, 3rd. Okay.
They're 3rd. They've jumped ahead of Brooklyn, which is insane given how Brooklyn started.
But it's very close in there. So Indiana, obviously, Brooklyn, Celtics. So you could go 3-5, and I think it's important, even without fans, with the potential in the playoffs, maybe to have fans at that point. You got to pick up some of these wins, especially against the Spurs and teams like that. It was a good win the other night, though. I'll say that. And they were close against the Lakers, obviously. Not a great loss because they lost by 1, and they probably should have won it. But then you go on the West Coast and you beat Golden State, you beat the Clippers. So not a bad start to the road trip, but it would be nice if you could go like 3-2, 4-1 on this West Coast swing to kind of settle yourself there in the middle of the standings because Brown's out, Smart's out, so they got to pick up some of these wins. And the key obviously is the bench. If they can get some contribution from those guys, I mean, it goes night to night now, but I don't know. Stevens uses Javonte Green, he does nothing. Then he uses Carson Edwards. Edwards finally had a game that we expected that he could the other night, and also it's good to have Pritchard back. He contributes pretty much something every night, so
he's
it's
unbelievable.
Good to have him back.
It's all it. We all loved that pick. I know Matt Murphy, our NBA draft and cap insider, predicted he was a guy that he identified at that exact spot. Hey, this is a guy, senior, bring him in. He'll fill a role immediately for you. I don't think we all expected him to be like rookie of the year, which is the way he's trending.
Yeah, he's been very good. Aaron Nesmith, on the other hand,
that's been major disappointment. I have to choke on my Kashi on that one.
I thought you were going somewhere else with that, but
no. Let's move along to the NHL where we talked last week, Christian, and we mentioned it throughout the week about the power of my words, how the things I say have so much power.
Keep it going.
And you said, well, I'm not afraid. I don't believe in the power of your words. I believe in the opposite of your words. Well, we both kind of agreed on this. I said the Bruins seems like they're heading. This is like over a week ago now, setting towards a up and down season. The way it is, anyways, it seems like teams with the back-to-backs are having some trouble in the second game on the road. Ups and downs. Young guys, there's going to be taking some lumps. So I would be surprised if they had a mediocre season. They are not going to be President's Cup contenders. And then they have gone 7-1-2 in their last 10. They've won 3 in a row. They currently lead the East, and they are just 1 point out of the lead in the entire National Hockey League for a best record. Unbelievable, frankly.
Yeah.
And kind of, I think, a catalyst to that, David Pastrnak is nice, huh?
Yeah, someone that could put the puck in the net. That would be good. However, I will say this: what they're doing right now, as incredible as it is not sustainable.
No, so, never is.
They're getting down in these games 3-0, 3-1, and then coming back and winning. So that's a recipe for disaster. The only problem with this Bruins team, and I said at the beginning of the year, they don't score 5-on-5 much. The power play is good, and now that Pasta's back, he can just sit on the left circle and just slap them by because the guy's got an incredible shot. But what they're doing is literally it will not, especially in like a postseason setting, it's not going to be sustainable like this. you can't win games going down 3-1 and then coming back and winning 4-3. It's just not going to happen. At the same time, it's good to have Pasta back. You still have Kasha, who will, not Kasha, who will hopefully be back at some point here and give you something. But I will say they are far, exceeding my expectations early on in the season. I thought they were going to be, struggling here, maybe 500, a little bit above 500 and middle of the pack and, vie for a playoff spot. What they're doing right now is incredible. And, I like where they're going. I think their defense has been, okay. It's been choppy at times in terms of some of the young guys, but overall, I think it's been good. And they just have to find a way to put the puck in 5-on-5, which is the same thing every year.
Yeah, I agree. I'd say it's good that they're winning the games, because there's been you look for things. I think about good teams in the past. They have that just like they just keep finding ways to win these games. It's insane. I mean, the Capitals won. What was it? They're down 4-0 or they're 3-0.
Yeah, 3-0. Yeah.
And I remember I was watching that game and I turned. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go start dinner. I'll check back in later in the third period. And you texted me like Bruins, and I was like, oh God, like destroy. They must have given up like 3 more. They're 5-3.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What? So I'll take it for now. I mean, it'll be good for them to put some, ride this wave. But I'm with you. I'd like to see them not get down in all these games. Any other notes for you from the NHL? I mean, the Bruins have kind of been one of the stories of the week. Also, there was this incident with the Rangers, this Tony DeAngelo thing. I don't know if you wanted to touch on this at all.
Go ahead. Yeah. I'll let you
so basically, they cut him after he gave up. He just gave away the puck to the Penguins, and then got into a giant fight with the goaltender. And the next day he was cut. And so then he went on Twitter and they found all his burner accounts.
Yeah.
And so he was just tearing the team and the teammates, and it got ugly. So it was just another weird little story. The Rangers have been, I think, for me, one of I think they've kind of come on here. Let me check the standings. I think they have won. They beat Washington last night. So they've won 2 in a row. They're 4-4-2 in their last 10, but they're one spot. Actually, they're tied points wise with the Sabres. So expected more of them to start here. They're one of my disappointments. Both New York teams, Islanders and Rangers.
Yeah.
Kind of disappointing. But that was a bizarre story. Now that guy's just sitting on the street because teams are like, do we want to get into this guy? I don't know.
Do we want this guy and all his burners? I don't know about that.
Yeah. So just an interesting little tidbit. So we're going to move along to some college notes. Like we said, we know the Super Bowl is happening today. We have lots of Super Bowl stuff to get to. Just trying to pick through all the other stuff before we get there. So we see the Super Bowl questions in the comment sections. We will get to them as soon as we hit our NFL segment. We've already done NBA, NHL. We're going to focus on some college stuff. A reminder that Super Bowl is tonight. We will be doing a Super Bowl reaction show Monday, tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. That'll be live as well. So you can watch and enjoy the Super Bowl and then hop on with us tomorrow night, and as we'll be breaking down the game. I wanted to just bring up some college stuff. Big news out of the D3 world. Many conferences had already started, much like they canceled their fall seasons, conference-sponsored seasons. A lot of conferences decided to stop sponsoring or cancel their sponsored season. So, the conference is saying, listen, we're not going to have any games. If you want to go and schedule games on your own, go for it. That's your right to do so as an institution, but the conference is not going to have games. There'll be no conference champion for a lot of these conferences. And the more teams that happened to, and the more teams that just either opted out before their conferences even did, the NCAA made the call, because you have to have X number of teams to participate. No tournaments. So this was the same deal for D3 in the fall. No fall sport championships. NCAA said no winter sport championships. That means, for the big ones, no basketball, no hockey, no national tournament for those for those teams, for those sports. Disappointing, predictable. This is just where things are trending. I feel bad for all the athletes, much like we did in the spring. Same for the fall. Now for the winter too. A lot of people, a lot of teams, and a lot of seniors, especially, their stories just kind of get left incomplete. Which is unfortunate. I'd say there's one flip side now, because that NCAA clock isn't there, because usually you're mindful of wanting to be in a tournament, so you have to get your games in by a certain point. I guess potentially maybe the window is open. Hey, if things get better in April and some school somewhere wants to play us in hockey or basketball, and we can put together a 3-game season so our seniors get to at least play, who knows? That could still be on the table for some schools. Obviously, now the attention kind of shifts towards spring, and the teams that already lost one season, hoping they don't lose another. But honestly, a lot of that's just all out of their hands, really. I mean, it comes down to everybody. This is a global and national, and it's a community issue. So we'll see what happens with spring for D3, but no winter sports championships by the NCAA. So I guess in a way, if you were on one of these schools where you already canceled your season, you could say, well, if we ain't getting it, nobody's getting it. You don't have to watch somebody else raise a national title and wonder if that could have been you. I don't know if that's exactly, if that's comforting or not, but it's one way to look at it. However, spring football is going to be a thing, Christian. It is going to be a thing. There's been D3 football started yesterday in places like Texas, in the Midwest. It's coming to the Northeast as well. Not sure on the D3 side. High schools, the FCS, the second tier D1 schools are starting. I think the CAA started this weekend as well. What are your thoughts on spring football? Is it worth it? Will people watch? Your thoughts on just having fall happen in the spring?
Well, much like everything else, we've never experienced something like this, so I have not a clue on if people will be engaged or watch. I would suspect yes, but also I feel like maybe this is just a me thing, a my feeling thing. But because of the whole COVID thing, I feel like some people have kind of jumped off sports in general, and they're following it, but not as engaged as they would be in like a normal year, where there's crowds and there's an atmosphere and there's things like that. So it's a different time, obviously, and I really have no idea. I would suspect, especially in these colleges and things like that, I would suspect there's going to be some level of engagement from fans, from obviously the players want to play. And especially if you're starting around this time, maybe you'll get some snow in the Northeast. So it's kind of a different atmosphere.
Yeah.
And I mean, look, the players want to play. I think that's the bottom line. Some might be on the edge, and I'm not going to blame them for that, obviously. But I think a lot of guys want to play. And so if there's a way to make it happen, then you know what? Spring football, let's go nuts.
I think it'll be interesting. I think it could benefit, FCS football. High school, D3, for them, it's just about like, can we find a way to get these teams to play, right?
Right.
Seniors, a chance to go out, and high school seniors as well, a chance to maybe earn yourself a scholarship going to a college or something. Though I guess by now you probably should already be enrolled or admitted, depending on when your deadline. Yeah, no, you should already. Yeah, you already know. I forget. It's been so long since I had to worry about those things. I don't know. I'm not cognizant of those deadlines. I'm old enough to have forgotten, and not old enough to have to worry about kids for that. Maybe that's a good sweet spot to be at. But the FCS, I feel like maybe normally they're all playing. And now some teams did play in the fall. They broke up their season. Some teams played in the fall. Other teams pushed off to spring. I think in a way it might be a way to get attention for some of these teams. Maybe you're a guy who balls out in the FCS season, but it's totally under the radar because the normal FBS season is happening as well, and you don't get as much attention. Now, just thinking about these guys, potential pro prospects, you're the only show in town. Recency bias, what it is. you have a great season, maybe you get yourself drafted. Or maybe you move up a draft board because people forget what some other guy did in September, October. You're doing it in April, and then the draft is like 2 weeks later. And hey, you would have been a 7th-round pick, and now you're a 2nd-round pick. I think it could benefit the eyeballs that might be on some of these other teams. The flip side, we'll have to get Dr. Mark Murphy to come on at some point and talk about this. Ideally, they want to play in the fall again. Playing football, the football season is a war of attrition. What happens when you play a season in the spring? You play 10 games in the spring, and if you make the playoffs for that, you're maybe playing till like May through into May at some point, maybe even June. Because who knows if a game gets postponed because of COVID or something, and you're playing into June, and then you say, hey, all right, go take a month off, then come back in July and get ready to ramp up for the next season. What does that do to these guys' bodies? The people who will be returning. So that'll be an interesting medical thing to check in with Dr. Mark Murphy on. But it'll be interesting. I'm with you. If it's nothing's going to be 100% safe. But as long as teams can provide the testing and the resources and everything that's needed, that the health people say this is how you have to do it, it should be done. Not everybody has that. The D1s do. They got the pocketbooks for it. So that's why you see more of it happening there. And while D3 kind of has to wait on more things to change. So before we hop into the NFL and the Super Bowl today, I think, Christian, you've got one quick Major League Baseball note you want to hit on.
Yeah, why not? We're getting everything left the board. But Dustin Pedroia finally has retired, if you're a Red Sox or baseball fan.
Didn't he retire like 4 years ago?
I mean, pretty much, right? But just a moment on him. I mean, I feel like, he was kind of one of those guys he had some bumps in the road at the end here where he was kind of like the target of some things. But overall, I think, Pedroia was a good Red Sox, and he kind of carried the load here a little bit with Ortiz and these guys. He was a core guy and a guy that a lot of people rooted for because he's not someone that's the biggest or the strongest or, so a lot of people kind of, connect with him on that level. And I just think it's important for anybody, right? The guy was undersized, you'd say, but he still played. He played his ass off and he won. So, good career for him. He should have retired probably a few years ago, but still, nonetheless, I mean, in this generation, especially with all the championships for the Red Sox, I mean, he was one of those guys.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you forget, again, another guy you kind of forgot how long he was around. I saw him at Pawtucket when he was playing for the Paw Sox. And then it was really cool. It's what makes that sort of thing cool about baseball. And hockey has this too. You have the P Bruins and you have tiers of leagues. You could go see a guy when he gets drafted and, hey, he's playing in Pawtucket, and then all of a sudden he makes the big league squad and you're excited, like, oh my God, all right, this guy's getting a chance. Like, let's see if he can stick. And that 2007 year, him and Ellsbury both coming up. The Laser Show. And it's unfortunate he was so good, and then he got his big payday, and pretty much since then, he didn't suck, but it just hurt. Knee injuries, wasn't available. So it's really unfortunate. That's why I think we say, I joke, has he been retired for 4 years? Because he's basically kind of been another coach for them. While they're paying out, we got to pay you your contract anyways. Might as well have you on the roster, and you can be helping mentor this team. Is he Red Sox like Hall of Famer? Should he have his number retired?
That's a good question. For me, probably not. I don't know. Like, I feel like there's a number of guys that are up there, and they're like, is he on the
has 3 rings? But really 2.
Yeah, and I just feel like if Ortiz is up there, I don't think Pedroia is on Ortiz's level. Like, really good story, and don't get me wrong, he was great here for a while.
Do you retire the number of hardest working player ever? That's kind of what you have to.
Yeah, I would say I'm on the fence on it.
Not that honestly, he didn't have talent, but that's kind of like, if his MO is that.
Honestly, if they did it, I wouldn't be like up in arms about it. I just don't think he's on the level of like a David Ortiz. I just don't think he's in that echelon.
Does
But,
Manny Ramirez get a number retired?
yeah, big Manny guy. Yeah. No, he
Manny
probably
only,
won't
Ma-
either. I don't know.
Manny only has 2. And obviously Manny had a tumultuous end.
Yeah, not a great end. No, definitely not. I don't know. Again, I would say on the fence, but if they did it, I won't be upset about it. I think he was great here, and obviously the story alone, undersized guy, works his ass off, and he's just, he carried those teams as much as the next guy. Obviously Ortiz was really the focal point, and Manny, but talk about a guy that was out there before he was injured most every day. He worked super hard, and a guy that was just like kind of gives the little guy a little bit of
Oh yeah. Oh, guys like him, Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah.
Oh, after my heart.
shows you can do it. Well, not now, but could have done it.
Could have done it. So anyway, that is we just tore through all the other kind of sports news from the week to get to the NFL and the Super Bowl here today. Though actually, I did have one kind of thing. This is from Sham Sharania. This was kind of shedding light on the Kevin Durant situation real quick before we move on to the Super Bowl. Sources: Kevin Durant had exposure 3 times Friday with a team employee who tested positive. To facility for testing, home from testing, into the arena for the game, and the 2 were believed not to be wearing face masks, thus 7 days of quarantine for Durant. Everyone's to blame. Come on, KD.
Not
Wear
ideal.
the mask. Ugh. So bad luck all around. That'll do it for that. We're going to get into the Super Bowl stuff now. We've seen you guys kind of adding in some questions. Continue to fill out the comment section. We will be getting to these. Let me check too. You can always reach the show by email, the360sportshow@gmail.com at any time throughout the show or the week. We will be doing our kind of extended football preview here. Tomorrow, we will be doing our Super Bowl reaction show, special edition of the show, 7:30 p.m., right back here through a restream. We'll be on our Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Twitch streams live, 7:30. So if you have questions, join us then. If you can't join us live, certainly send us an email or hit us up through our social media if you want to talk during the reaction show tomorrow. So let's get into this. NFL news first. The big one kind of came out yesterday, day before. Carson Wentz is going to be traded by the Eagles. I think this is kind of it's surprising, not that they want to move him, but surprising that they're going to be able to, because he's got like a $40 million salary. He's going to take up like 24 or 30 something million dollars on their cap, even if they trade him because of the dead money. So you kind of figured like, wow, they really want to get rid of him if they're willing to do this. And here's the kicker. One of the teams rumored, evidently, thank God, the Patriots are not in the running. Because I think he would just be Cam Newton 2.0. Like, he's a reclamation project at this point, with given how he's gone.
Come on, he's better than Newton.
Is he, though? I mean, I think he was...
He is far better.
All right, he's better than Newton, but it's the same idea. I mean, so you would pay... You were mad with what Newton produced, paying him like $1 million. You're going to pay Carson Wentz
taking the money out of
$40 million?
Nope, didn't say that. I'm not saying the money. I'm saying the player. The player is far better than Newton, and this Patriots team would be way better
Upside. We don't know. He
would be.
He is not. I think everybody's kind of lusting back to that 2017 where he was like going to be an MVP. He hasn't been that since. I don't know. Do I trust Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels maybe to get the most out of the guy? Absolutely. But I would rather go with known. Like I've said, I'd rather them give Ryan Fitzpatrick $2 million, and at least I know what we're getting out of that guy, and it's not like boom or bust. You know what you're getting, and draft a young guy. Then Carson Wentz, so you're maybe thinking like, oh, we could make it work, and this is our 3-year plan.
Well, you're not paying him out that money, and the Patriots won't do it anyway. But to say he's not better than Newton is a little bit. Come on now. Get the Kashi out of here. What are we doing?
But here's the kicker, right? One of the trades that's being talked about, trade destination, is the Bears. And here's the trade package. Tariq Cohen, a first-round pick, and Nick Foles.
Hey, why not? He won a
Oh
Super
my
Bowl.
God. Talk about the argument of like, how valuable is Carson Wentz? If you can get taken, if you're the starting quarterback and you're taken off your team and that team still wins the Super Bowl, how good are you? How much does that team need you? So that's obviously why they're willing to move on from him. That's been in the back of their minds ever since. Because Foles was still on the team the year after, and they ended up changing starting jobs again. The fact that he could get traded for Nick Foles, who will come and like back up Jalen Hurts, I just it's amazing. It's fantastic. They drafted Hurts to push Wentz, and now Wentz is getting traded. That'd be like if Tom Brady crapped his pants and they traded him so that Jimmy Garoppolo could become the starter. Like they tried to do that and like give the guy a nudge and like keep him motivated after getting his contract, and it completely blew up on them. Unbelievable.
This is good news, though. This is good news. If he goes to the Bears, that's good news for the Patriots because Jimmy Garoppolo has his eye on Chicago as a destination in terms of if they were to trade him, he would want to go play. He's from that area. He wants to go play with the Bears. If Wentz goes to the Bears, forget about that, and there's a chance Garoppolo could be on the move elsewhere, maybe New England. So that's good news if you're a Patriots fan.
Yeah. As we said, it's Super Bowl Sunday. Are we shocked that we're here? Like, did we think we talked at different points about this year? Once in September, early October, with all the outbreaks happening, like big ones, like 20-something people on teams were testing positive between the Ravens and the Titans. That there needed to be a pause, a shutdown, rework. There was almost the emergency action of expanding the playoffs because they were going to start canceling games. They ended up playing the whole season. Every game got played. Playoffs and the Super Bowl is here. It's today. Are we shocked? Are we surprised?
No, because early on in the year, once they powered through all those situations, we were going to get here one way or another. So, yeah. I mean, look, I think at this point, it's without the bubble, it is nearly impossible to get through a season unscathed in terms of COVID. I think that's pretty clear now. Every sport has done it. Every sport has had some cases pop up. And naturally, every sport has gotten through it. So if the players are willing to play and they don't want to opt out, they're willing to play, then I think they know as well as anybody, we're going to make it through the season. So at this stage, definitely not surprised. I mean, one way or another, the NFL was going to power through. And I mean, look, I think overall, they did an okay job. I think there's some question marks in there, like early on in the year. But after those couple pop-ups there of teams really getting ridden by COVID, there wasn't much. There was individual cases and isolations, but there wasn't too much like, okay, we have to cancel all these games. We're going to move them to the back end of the schedule. There wasn't a whole lot of that. So ultimately, no, I'm not surprised. After the first couple of weeks with the Titans, most notably, once they got through that, I was just like, okay, they're going to do this, and we're going to get to the Super Bowl one way or another. Put the blinders on, and we're going to go through the dark tunnel, and we're going to get to the other side. That's pretty much just how it went.
Yeah, it kind of, actually, like the season was kind of like the ferry ride in Willy Wonka.
Yes,
the danger keeps on growing.
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up.
Internet, somebody effort us like a deep fake of that with Roger Goodell's face on Willy Wonka for that scene. We'll ask the Reddit community to make that. It'll be available by the end of the show. I agree. I think rationally we were looking at it at that point and saying, like, how do they not shut down? How are they not going to like put a pause? Just take a break for a week, because it seemed like it was one of these things you couldn't keep up with where it was spreading, because you were like playing a game on a Monday, then still playing Thursday, and then a guy who played Monday was playing Sunday and Thursday, and it was like, this is going to get out of control because of what we know about incubation periods, and you can't keep a lid on it. So we just thought, like, hit the stop button, let it kind of like burn out, try and isolate people in the teams, and then move forward with better protocols. I will give the NFL credit. They saved their season. There was a really great article in the Wall Street Journal about this, how at that time period, because the NFL, they did the whole wristband, data, everybody's going to be tracked thing, and they actually, in the end, helped out the CDC reforming the protocols, because obviously they had 30-something thousand test subjects to to monitor and
Yeah.
say, this is how much time so and so was near somebody. This is like these people had masks, but they were near each other for this amount of time, or they were this far away with or without masks, and how all these different scenarios they were able to like have test results for, and they reworked the protocol. It wasn't 15 minutes in consecutively. It was 15 minutes total in a 24-hour period. If you spent 15 minutes near somebody without a mask on, you were at risk. Or even like if it was smaller than that, but with the mask, you were at risk. So they were able to say, now the net, instead of, because there were guys slipping through the cracks with the protocols that were deemed, at-risk contacts. And they said, okay, we have to widen this net. And they did. And basically we never had one of those big outbreaks again. So I'll give them credit. And they gave the CDC like a 300-something page report, which has now helped the CDC inform newer guidance, which is what all this is. It's emerging science. It's going to change. We're going to learn things. Things are going to get found out, and it helps. The NFL is kind of like they get like a B for their handling of all this because they decided to roll the dice in July and say full season, all ahead full. And we questioned, like, you had all this time to plan something and you're just going to go with, we're just going to have a season. And they had some screw ups. They also corrected them, but it's kind of to answer my own question. Are we surprised? I'm with you. No, it's the NFL. Ignore, throw money at it and fix it. That's the NFL way.
I'll say this though. Overall, I think they did an okay job. Like I honestly don't think it's not like the MLB.
They're lucky though. They had all year, right? Their season ended a year ago. And they had all that time to get ready, and their plan was to we'll just play the season and test. And they came up with that. They published their plan like a week. Remember, there was almost a strike. The players were like, we have not been told like how often we're being tested, what our plan is. Are we doing bubbles? Are we like? They didn't know like a week before training camp. That should have been known in May.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. There was some bums,
they kind of get lucky here. And guess what? They got here. The NFL should start tonight immediately planning ways to improve for next season.
Well,
COVID will still be around. We all want to hope it's not, but it's probably still going to be around come the fall. So I know they got through this year, luckily, without any sort of like major incident. No player got like seriously sick. Thank God, right? Knock on wood. They better plan. They better take this time now, cross their lucky stars, and playing forward. But we give. Look, that's why I say
everybody needs to improve. Everybody needs to improve.
October till now, A, fixing the protocols, using the data, letting informed science make the decisions and help the decision making. A. They also get like a D from May till then. So that averages to B.
I think you have to take a look at teams and players, though, too. Like, you can't just say the NFL. Obviously, the NFL did not have the best plan, but they got through it ultimately. The problem is, like, if an equipment manager is going out without a mask, that's not on the NFL. That's on the equipment manager without the mask. So there comes a time and point where it's like, yes, the NFL has to put stuff in place. And I think once you got through the bumps early on, they're ultimately here. So was it a complete failure or anything? No. And I think, like I mentioned, I think all sports are going to have bumps and bruises. We saw it in college football. We saw it in college basketball. We've seen it in the NBA, the NHL. It's going to happen. So unless you want a full shutdown and just sports not to go on, this is kind of what we're at. This is where we're at right now. So, look, should they improve? Yes, absolutely. Always look to improve. Will they? Who knows? But at this point, by the time another season starts, hopefully vaccinations will be up and there will be other things in place. But overall, I just, I think the NFL overall, past those first few weeks where they had to, shuffle some things, there wasn't really any huge big deal after those points.
Yeah.
They kind of figured it out as they went, but ultimately, they did figure it out. And I'm just happy we got a season, and I'll say that because when the season first started and that Titans outbreak, I was like, oh God, if this is the season, I don't know. We're going to be into like April by the time we have a Super Bowl.
Exactly.
But hey, we're here now.
Yeah, that it all happened on time. because we knew the NFL would want to play it all, but will it happen on time? Um, One of the teams that they should look at or should be talked to as a model, like you said, it's on these teams too. The Seattle Seahawks had 0 cases. Unbelievable. Pete Carroll it starts at the top, right? Highly involved, like talking to doctors. I mean, obviously Washington is where the pandemic, like one of the major outbreaks started in Washington. So it was right in their backyard. They saw it. They witnessed it. So maybe it hit a little closer to home for them to be mindful of this stuff, but the team was highly involved, adding extra technology to their own facility, extra protocols on top of what the NFL was requiring. So major kudos to what the Seahawks did this year.
Did the Buccaneers have any cases?
Oh, yeah. They had cases.
They did? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I just remember because the whole offseason, right, Brady had all those guys at the fields, and there wasn't really any big deal in terms of case, but they made him stop. So
yeah, well, no, Cameron Brate got COVID from that. That was one of the things we talked about early on was them bringing in Antonio Brown.
Right. Yeah.
And it was like these guys all went and got COVID so they could practice in a backyard field with Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And now he's like bringing in another guy.
Hey, it looks like it paid off today, don't it?
Yeah, I guess.
Extra work.
But the Seahawks are definitely a team that should be looked at as far as a model for what all that they did. It's a really great article in the New York Times about this. The NFL had over 700 positive cases. The Seahawks had 0. That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think
worth the read to go figure out and to read about all the things that they implemented and did.
I think overall, with how much you look at, so players, like I say it's a lot on the players and the coaches to do the right things, right? But if they're going home to their families, maybe their kids get sick. Like the problem with this is you don't know, right? So until you have that negative test, you could test negative, get in the game, and then after the game, you could test positive. So there's a lot of elements here, and I just think the way it works is there's going to be guys who pop up positive from one thing or another. They could follow the protocols 100%, and something could still go wrong. So I don't want to say like it's all on the players and it's all their fault. No, it's just this is the way the world is. And I think overall the NFL, it's not like we had a 2-quarter game and then another 2-quarter game like the MLB was like 7-inning games here and there, and one team's playing 2 games, the other's playing 27. So overall, I think they got through the way they wanted, which we can question.
Yeah. Last kind of COVID related thing, the NFL has offered up all of its stadiums to the Biden administration to use as mass vaccination sites. Awesome. A+ for this because it's needed. You need a location outdoors, or even if it's indoors, it's the NFL arena, massive space. So I think this is just great. I don't think we need to say anything more than that. It's great. Yeah. It's awesome. It's necessary. Nothing else is going to be happening in those buildings. So no concerts.
Yeah, why not? So I think it's important to have, just a quick note, I think it's important to have these big open spaces, right? Where you can just have people kind of funnel in with a huge parking lot. That makes the most sense. So kudos to the NFL on that one and
yes,
the administration.
We see the Super Bowl questions. I promise you, we're getting the Super Bowl questions. We're just picking through all the news. So keep filling up the comment section with those questions. You can also email the show, the360sportshow@gmail.com throughout the live broadcast here. We are going to do an impromptu little top 5. We did tons of top 5s throughout the year, obviously when there was no sports to fill time. Because me and Christian were talking about, top 5 Super Bowl foods. Instead of a top 5, because we might just pick all the same ones, me and Christian are going to draft our top 5 Super Bowl foods. So that'll be a little bit of fun that we'll do here in a second. Before we do that, did you see this T-Mobile ad?
Fantastic. Yeah.
Oh, so
fantastic.
I don't know. I don't want to get us kicked off the air here. So I don't know if we can't air it here.
No, just go watch it. You'll see it on YouTube.
Just go watch it. It's on YouTube. The T-Mobile ad, it's been banned, which I think probably has to do with the fact that Verizon's a sponsor of the NFL. So they probably found a way to nix this ad. But it's fantastic. It's Tom Brady talking to Gronk about should he retire, blah, blah, blah. And Gronk's telling him, yeah, Tommy, you should just retire. retire before you suck and come down here to Florida. We could be playing golf, feet in the sand, blah blah blah. Every week is or nobody will think you're weak or blah blah. And then it's like if that this is what Tom Brady here heard. If you had a weak connection, blah blah blah, and it's him. All he hears from Gronk is, you're weak. Come to Florida, win another one. Blah 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 blah. Don't it? Tom's like, okay, yeah, I'll do that, and ropes Gronk into then coming and playing for the Buccaneers. It's a hysterical commercial. It's clever. It's funny. I like it. It's also 100% at the expense of a Boston sports fan, which makes it brutal. Almost made me think about changing my mind about rooting for the Buccaneers today, but I can't do that.
I was hoping you would.
I know you were. But yeah, I loved it. It's really, really, really clever. I don't know if you have any other further thought on it, but if it had aired during the game, it would be the #1 commercial from the Super Bowl. So.
Oh yeah, no, it was phenomenal, and also, like, just have a laugh. Like, let's not get up in arms about a commercial. Come on, like, I've seen people get like kind of like like I'm not rooting for Tom anymore, but like let's just take it back, and let's root for the let's be on the right side of history. I've heard this a lot. You want to be on the wrong side, or do you want to be on the right side? Let's be on the right side after that. Okay,
the right side of history. All right, let's quickly get into this Super Bowl foods thing. We're going to draft our top 5 Super Bowl foods. And Christian, because I'm a generous fellow, I'm going to give you the #1 overall pick here in the Super Bowl foods draft, the first annual Super Bowl foods draft here on the 360 Sports Show. Christian, with your first pick in the Super Bowl foods draft, you select.
You're so kind. Wow, unbelievable. Buffalo chicken dip, easy, right off the top.
Ooh, buff chick dip. Alrighty. With my first pick, I will be selecting wings. Just overall blanket wangs.
Yeah,
Chicken wings. Chicken wings. Necessary. No football outing is complete without wings.
That was my next choice.
So all right. So with your second pick.
So this is, I don't know how many people do this, right? But I would just say like, it's like a pizza, something pizza, right? So we do like a pizza twist. So you get your dough, you twist it, make a pizza out of it, and then you pick and dunk in your sauce, right? That's what I would choose. Something pizza related, whether it's pizza bites, pizza twist, something like that.
All right, so I'll just put pizza in like brackets, like big, just any pizza item. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I was gonna, I'll because you're taking pizza here, I won't do a pizza thing. One of mine was gonna be pizza strips, cold, in Rhode Island style, the cold pizza.
Yeah.
So you have taken pizza, which means with my second pick, I'm gonna go with nachos. Nachos, gotta have the nachos. All right, your third round selection here in the first annual Super Bowl food draft. I would say
wings and nachos both, but I gotta go. Can I do this? I'm just gonna say chips and like 800 kinds of dips.
Killing me.
You gotta go with
I shouldn't have given you the first pick.
You gotta go with the queso, guacamole, French onion,
chips and dips, not chips and dip, chips and dips.
Oh yeah.
All right. What kind of chips though? This is important. What kind of chips?
Oh, you gotta go Tostitos.
Okay. So
scoops, baby.
Scoops. So wait, you use tortilla chips with French onion dip?
Hell yeah.
Ugh, I can't do that. But you have taken chips and dip though. Chips. I mean,
and dip look, I would
board.
Throw any chip in a dip. This is.
Oh, mark tape. Mark tape on that.
Grab that. Right. Keep that forever. Keep that.
Oh man. All right. So, where do I go here? Because now I'm assessing where you're going. I have to try and like surprise. I gotta throw you off your game. I gotta make like an Oakland Raiders type pick here, or a Bill Belichick. I gotta pick a 7th rounder here. All right. Before you get there, I'm gonna go ahead right now. No Super Bowl party is complete without beer. Beer. 3rd overall pick. I am going beer. Doesn't matter how. Beer is food.
You chew your beer?
Hey, some of those stouts, man, they're pretty chunky.
That's fair.
Beer counts as food. If you're in the football world, beer counts as food.
Fine,
So
you get your beer. I'm going wine coolers.
wine
No,
coolers.
I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
All right, so I'm taking beer. I want to make sure that I have beer in my Super Bowl party pack here. What's your fourth pick?
You've got to go with pigs in a blanket, right? Like
Ah! All right.
in the shape of a football, pigs in a blanket, and then you got your, your spicy mustard and anything you want.
Yeah. So in the comment section right now, we got Colin went wings, along with so far now he's got wings, long calzone / stromboli, chips and queso. Pete from Gansit's got sausage and peppers as a must-have. That's really good.
One.
Mary chimes in buffalo chicken dip and mini hot dogs as well. I had forgotten.
See?
I had completely forgotten about mini hot dogs.
Yeah, Mary and I are on the
last
same page
night.
here.
Colin also, his fourth would be buffalo chicken dip. He put bug chicken dip, but I'm going to assume that he means buffalo chicken dip. If you do,
Nothing like a good bug chicken dip.
if you do mean bug chicken dip, if this is some sort of real deep south thing, you can let me know. Okay, no, he
Hey.
clarifies buffalo chicken dip.
To be fair though, like it's been a long winter. There's bugs in the windows. You just grab those, throw them in the dip, and you're good, right?
Instacart, man. If you're resorting to eating the bugs on your windowsill, please call out. It's safe to get takeout.
We call that protein.
So not only have we established that beer is food, bugs are also food here on the 360 Sports Show, I guess. So all right, so you took pizza in a blanket. Oh, that's just a good Friday night. Pizza in a blanket. That's the quarantine excitement. Pizza in a blanket.
That is quarantine in a nutshell. Yeah.
All right. Fourth overall pick for me. Oh man. Okay. I'm gonna go pulled pork sliders.
Good one. Good one.
Pulled pork sliders. All right. Your fifth and final pick here.
Barbecue chicken football pie.
Oh wow! You pulled out the Betty Crocker recipe book.
So we're doing this today, actually.
Barbecue chicken.
I'm not going to take credit for it, but
pie. I want it. So
Yeah,
we're gonna
so
pull up an image of this.
it's
while
mini
you
though. Mini
explain.
pies. Mini pies. So it's you shape the pie crust style thing in the shape of a football. Throw some buffalo chicken, maybe ranch, whatever you want. And then do your little stenciling of the football. Now, I'm not going to be doing this. I'm not that talented, but the wife will be doing it, and I will eat it. So, barbecue chicken football pie, little mini footballs.
Let's see. We can pull this up here. There we go. Oh yum.
Oh yeah,
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Fire.
Yummy. So wait, you're not gonna sit there with like the little thing and like press all the little things in there, or are you on stencil duty? Which
I
duty do you
might-
have?
the duty of watching and eating, because it would not taste nearly as good if I did it.
The best duty to have. So Colin rounds out his top 5 with pulled pork tacos. Let's see. It looked like he had. Just eat that Addison made them one year. Supreme. And his honorable mention is jalapeno poppers
one,
and mod
good one.
sticks. Oh, also good. The jalapeno
Mod
poppers. Yeah. So my final pick. I got chicken wings, nachos, beer, pulled pork. You know what we need here? This is what this needs. We need something sweet. So I'm going to go with cupcakes. Those cupcakes you get at the
I thought
supermarket.
that was a separate draft.
Nah. You know, those you get the cupcakes. They got the really rich icing, and they all have like the little football ornaments and stuff on the top. I'm going with those. I'm
pretty good.
store brand cupcakes. It's just you're running in there like, oh, we need a dessert, and it's what happens every year, unless you're somebody who's bakes desserts a lot. But I'm gonna go with the cupcakes. All right, I will each get one undrafted draft pick here to round things out. Go ahead, Christian.
I got to go with the classic football cookie skillet.
Football cookie.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with just a huge cookie.
All right.
Right?
My
Chocolate chip.
Colin says sweet giant cookie as an honorable mention as well.
Hang on.
So my honorable pick here, my undrafted food it's kind of a general thing, but the platter of just like cheese and pepperoni and crackers, just that
Yep, yep. That's a classic.
the thing you're just sitting there like you don't feel like having like another bowl of something because you'll feel like I shouldn't. Instead, you just eat like a pound of cheese, one little cube at a time, and somehow you feel better about yourself doing it that way. So I'm going to go the cheese and cracker palette. Not a platter, a palette. All right. So, Christian's food draft, the first annual 360
Let me
Sports
just
Show
say,
food
let me just
draft.
say, I smashed this draft. By the way,
You did. No,
Yeah.
this is a very good draft. Easy to do when you have the first pick.
hey, appreciate your generosity.
I've been generous to you all year when we've been picking things, so why stop? Why stop now?
Fair point.
So Christian's draft board ends up like this: buffalo chicken dip, pizza in general, anything pizza related, but the pizza twists with the dip, chips and dips, pigs in a blanket, barbecue chicken football pies, and the football cookie. Yeah, I give that an A. That is an A.
That's top tier.
A draft. I went with chicken wings, nachos, beer, pulled pork sliders, cupcakes, and the cheese and cracker palette. I'll let you go ahead and grade me. I know where I'd put myself. You go ahead. You grade.
Maybe like
grade
an
my
A
draft.
minus. I thought it was
Okay.
pretty good.
All right. Yeah. I'm disappointed that last night making up my big board that I did not think of like jalapeno poppers
I know. Mott sticks, jalapeno
or
poppers,
pigs in a
both those are
blanket.
good.
How did I cuz you know what's funny? Last year at the my Super Bowl party, we made pigs in a blanket. My mother showed up with pigs in a blanket. We had like 200 pigs in a blanket. It was unbelievable. And so maybe it's because I ate so many, my brain was like, we need to like have you forget about this for a while. That I blacked it out. Also crazy to think how a year ago, Super Bowl party in my apartment, 30 something people in this 800 square foot area, which is probably illegal, like arrestable, a criminal offense right now. No masks, sharing food and drink and hanging out. And a year later, we're all in our little silos. Some of our friends have babies, and like we can't go anywhere without wearing masks. What happened in the
change,
past year? Is unbelievable.
Honestly, that feels like we did something similar. That feels like it was 10 years ago.
Yeah, a different life.
It's insane.
Pete and Gansett also chimes in with chili. Chili was on my big board too, but as I was getting to, I was like, I need to start getting to some of the other things I was worried Christian might take. And then he also says rigatoni. Yeah, I mean a good plate of pasta.
Oh yeah, 100%. Look, pasta and pizza, you can't go wrong with either of those.
Oh man, so that's it. Our first annual 360 Sports Super Bowl Foods Draft. We'll have to maybe decide next year if this is like a legacy thing, like if we get to keepers, to like, do I get to keep beer? How long do we get to keep a certain pick, and we'll roll it forward, that whole sort of thing. But yeah, that was fun. That was a good little fun thing to do. And so now we're gonna get into this matchup. We gave a preview last week of the Super Bowl, obviously because we air on Sundays. We wanted to make sure our thoughts kind of got out there. The game is today at 6:30. We've seen your questions coming through the comment section. We're going to get to those now. And we're going to give more of our preview. This show will go out as a podcast as well immediately after the conclusion of today's program. But we will also be doing a reaction show. We don't want to wait till next Sunday to let you know what we think. So we're going to be doing a Super Bowl reaction show tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m., right back up here on our social media platforms through Restream. We'll be doing our reaction show. So you can send us questions or join us live if you like for that as well. So let's check out here. First, let's go back some of the questions. All right, Colin, any big games today? Yes, big game. Nick Leary wants to know who's winning Super Bowl MVP. Should we save that for after we pick who we going? I mean, we both know, I think, who we're picking to win. How about we do this? Who's going to win and why? Christian, your case.
So I'm picking the Bucks. I'm staying with the Bucks. I picked them last week. Picked them all 3. Did I pick them all 3? I think I picked them all 3 weeks in the postseason. I'm just gonna say I did. And
I don't think you did. I'll go ahead, continue. While I fact check.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I think, look, I went back and looked at the game, and I just have it up in front of me here today. The Chiefs and the Bucks. It ended up being 27-24. We all know how the game went. The Chiefs controlled most of that game. They were up 20-7 in the first half. They came out and were up 27-10. Right, so they controlled most of the game. Big days from Rob Gronkowski and Chris Godwin that day. And Brady, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. So, look, the key in this game, I don't think Brady is going to be able to get away with throwing the ball to the other team this time. So you give the ball to Mahomes and that Chiefs offense, look out. Could be a long day. If there was one person to be able to beat, not one person, but one team that was led by Brady, it would be Tom Brady himself leading a team to beat this Chiefs team, because this Chiefs team is very good. They have the best quarterback in football, very good coach. So it's gonna be a long day if Brady turns it over. So I'd say you got to keep the ball on your team, and you got to throw it to your team. But I think the Bucks have to run a bit here today. They got to control a little bit of the clock. Try to keep Mahomes off the field as much as possible. I don't know how you'll be able to do that, because they can score in 2 plays in a hurry. So, overall, I think the key is, without a doubt, the quarterback matchup, and the defense, right? So the opposing defense, I think all throughout the playoffs, we've seen the Bucks defensive line get home a lot, whether it was Rodgers, Breeze, Heineke, it doesn't matter. Those guys were able to get home and put pressure on the opposing quarterback. If they can do that with Mahomes and kind of keep him contained, I think they'll have a good day. And on the other side, look, 2 picks in the first matchup with these 2 teams from Brady, and Spagnuolo always likes to kind of get pressure. So they will send guys, and it's just a matter of, is Brady going to be able to stand in a pocket, be comfortable, and get the ball down? Because we know what Arians wants to do. He wants to throw the ball down the field.
Yeah. So you picked New Orleans, as did I, in the Tampa New Orleans game, because we were both, at the time, we both felt, well, they kind of like played down to the Washington football team. The Saints walloped them twice. And hey, give the Bucks credit. I basically, since that Falcons game where they were down big, and then go figure, Brady comes back and they beat the Falcons, they've been on a roll, absolute roll. They found themselves, as Brady said. And I agree with a lot of what you said about what the Bucks need to do. I think the biggest matchup to watch in this is the Chiefs' offensive line. It's banged up. Nobody who was their I don't think they played a single game this year with their projected starting lineup of offensive linemen.
Yeah.
And so what they're going to have out there today is some backups, guys that weren't drafted, or later picks, rookies. That is going to be a weakness, we think, to start. Who knows? Those guys could go out and ball out. But that is a definite weakness. The Bucks have the edge there. That front 7, that D line, especially getting Vita Vea back, is loaded. And I worry about Pat Mahomes' durability in this game. He says the toe is 100%. Guess what? I don't need Mark Murphy to come on here and tell me turf toe don't go away in 2 weeks. You might feel fine just walking around, and hey, I was a full participant at practice, nice and gingerly as the quarterback, wearing the red penny, just throwing the ball. When you're in the game and you're running for your life, and a guy, all it will take is Ndamukong Suh stepping on his ankle once. And guess what? Now you are at like 50%. And if he is limping around, like we saw him in that Cleveland game, watch out. Because now he's not putting as much zip on the ball trying to plant and throw. Now he's running for his life to his right, to his left, trying to throw the ball over the middle. Maybe it doesn't have the same zip. And instead of getting there on the money to Kelsey or Tyreek Hill, now it's picked off by Levante David or something like that. If the game's going to snowball one way, it could be that Mahomes is hurt and he turns the ball over because of it. Otherwise, I think if Mahomes stays upright, this game is going to be similar to like Super Bowl 38 with the Patriots and Panthers, where it's like a rock fight to start because these teams have had 2 weeks to prepare, and the defenses have got some things that kind of confuse the other team. And guess what? Brady has never scored a first quarter touchdown in any Super Bowl.
He's
Unbelievable.
also had some rocky starts with throwing picks to the other team. So that's one thing that I'm telling you. If you're going to do what you did last week against Rodgers is not, for all his greatness, right? He's not one of these guys that you would think of, okay, he's clutch, he's going to go win this game, right? He's never really been that guy. So if you give the ball to Mahomes, though, he's young in the league. He's been here before already, and he's won it. So he's not going to be scared of the moment, and also the guy is clutch. So if you give him the ball, they can score in 2 plays and the game's over.
Yeah, no, I agree. And they can't just start dropping back and passing 50 times. Like you said, they need to run the ball. Right. But I think this is going to be one of those rock fight to start, track meet second half. Absolute track meet.
Yeah.
Because even if they get down, I mean, look what Super Bowl 52 turned into. That was a low-scoring first quarter between the Patriots and the Eagles, and that turned into one of the highest-scoring Super Bowls ever. Like 1,000+ combined yards between both teams. So I think that's how the game plays out. It is so hard for me to pick against Tom Brady. I just think it just seems it's unbelievable what the guy's done, what he chose to do. The reason I kind of was rooting for Brady all year to succeed. But I was like rooting against the Bucs as a team because I was like, he can't just go to another team and win a Super Bowl in year one. Like that's insane. I honestly didn't emotionally, I wasn't ready for that. At this point now, he's there. Oh my God, win it. Absolutely win it. So I'm rooting for him to win it. As should, and this is something we can play. I can go find this, but Scott Zolak had a thing this week about this as well, about why New England, if you're not rooting for Tom Brady, that you're just a complete fraud. I'll pull that up in a second. I think they'll win. I worry about the offensive line for the Chiefs, the legacy stuff with Brady Mahomes. It's unbelievable. LeBron James never got to play Michael Jordan in the finals, right?
Yeah.
To take the crown from him. All these things usually happen separated by generations. Brady and Mahomes are overlapping, and it's unbelievable that he has a chance to kind of really not even just stall his ascension, but put it even further away. So I think quarterback Mount Everest gets a little higher this year. Tom Brady just keeps raising the bar, plants the flag at the top of the mountain. I said last week he's Godzilla, reasserting him as king of quarterbacks. And I'm picking the Bucs. I think, though, something like 35-28, one-score game, whether he's leading a drive at the end to win it, whether they're hanging on to get a stop at the end, it should come down to the end. If it doesn't, I'll be disappointed one way or the other. And Brady's MVP. This is not going to be last time where it's like, hey, defense wins the game and Edelman's MVP. If the Bucs win this game, to win this game, Brady needs to be MVP because you're playing Pat Mahomes. So if I'm picking the Bucs, Brady's MVP.
That's fair. Yeah. I mean, chances are the quarterback's going to be it one way or another, right? But I'm going to, you know what? Let's be bold today. I'm going to say Tom Brady's going to be the MVP. But I'll say this. I think it's going to be similar to last year's Super Bowl, maybe. I don't think the defense for the Bucs is as good as the 49ers was, but the threshold for Jimmy G was 2 picks. He threw 2 picks, and ultimately they lost. Now, was it the picks? In part, for sure. But the Chiefs scored 21 unanswered points in the fourth quarter. So one thing I know, if one team gets up big in this game, don't turn it off because the other team can come roaring back. We've seen it with Brady. We've seen it with Mahomes. So I think it's going to be pretty much right down to the wire. And I think in these games, the turnover decides it. So, which team can hang on to the football?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's play this Scott Zolak audio because we talk about rooting for Brady. If you have Super Bowl questions, throw them in the comment section of the live streams. You can email the360sportshow@gmail.com. We will be doing our Super Bowl reaction show tomorrow night at 7:30. So obviously, any post game questions, comments, you could email them to us, and we'll just have them to run through, reacting to the game. Michael actually asks, "Is Tom Brady going to get 0.5 yards rushing?"
You bet.
I would say so. He's going to at least, have one quarterback sneak moment in this game, so that means he gets a yard. What Michael has to watch out for, though, is Brady has 1 yard rushing, 2 yards rushing, and they get the ball back, and they go to victory formation, and they have to kneel on it 3 times.
Yeah.
-1, -1, -1. Whoops. This seems like a betting question, Michael, which is why you have to be afraid. This is why betting on sports, aside from just an easy way to quickly lose money, and I'm glad as an NCAA employee, I am prohibited from betting on NCAA-sponsored sports, amateur or pro, because I don't have to worry about these things. It actually decreases the enjoyment of the game because you start rooting for bizarre things. You're like, no, don't go to victory formation. If you're like rooting for the Bucks to win, but not to have to like be kneeling on it just to win the game. So I would say, Michael, probably half a yard is reasonable to expect, but be ready for you're gonna expect this, and then Tom Brady's just gonna be kneeling on the ball 3 times. So be prepared. Yep. Be prepared for that. Let's play this. Let's play this Scott Zolak audio for you. This was about New England fans, whether they should be rooting for Tom Brady or not.
See it on Twitter. Oh, Brady gets his ass kicked. He left here. Let's screw him. You fans that rooted for 20 years here, when you would see that guy, would give anything to have his left hand, would do anything to get in the same room with him, would do anything to get him to sign something for your kid, would root him and buy all of his different jersey combinations as you could. What did he do? What was the crime against the team that Brady did to make him leave? To make you hate him so bad? What is it? What is it? He told him he wanted to play until his mid-40s. They didn't believe him. They bet against him. So he said, I'll take my money and go bet on myself. He's betting on himself right now. You hate Tom Brady, and you don't know whether you should root for the Chiefs or Tampa because Tampa has Tom Brady, then you're a fraudulent Patriot fan. You'll see it on Twitter.
What do you think?
Spot on.
Yeah.
I've been saying this since like day one here. I mean, I feel like if you were in, you can pick against him in a game, right? Like we did that a number of times because you don't think the coaching is good. You don't think this is good. If you're a Patriots fan and you're not rooting for this guy to now just exceed the level of greatness that he's already hit, like I agree. I think that's fraudulent.
I want to check something else while we're looking at it. Yeah, I was, like I said, I was rooting for Brady against the Bucks all year. And at this point now, like I said last week, I've come to the determination, better late than never, that it's probably better for, if you're a Patriots fan, 1, to be rooting for Tom Brady's success, and 2, for it to, I think if the Patriots had had a successful season, maybe Patriots fans, it would go both ways. They would be like, yeah, I'll root for Tom. Like, great, if he wins another Super Bowl, awesome. But hey, we've got our next quarterback. We understood we weren't going to win the Super Bowl this year. Because the Patriots feel like they're going backwards, fans are not only angry at Tom, but they're angry at the Patriots too.
Yeah.
Which I say, better off if Tom wins. It'll light a fire under the team to get better. So I think it'd be interesting to see how that plays out. I wanted to check quickly on the forecast in Tampa, what they were expecting. Looks like it should be clear for them. So obviously outdoor Super Bowls, you never know. Has Tom Brady's played, let me think. Dome. Jacksonville was outside. Is that the only one, right? Because Arizona, then Indianapolis,
say, yeah. Indy,
then Arizona again, and then all the other ones were inside, right? Yeah. Because Houston again, then Minnesota, then back to New Orleans, right? No, where was
Atlanta,
right? Because because I was thinking Atlanta because of 51. Yeah, so this will just be his second Super Bowl outside, but
Brady, not exactly one who's afraid to play in the elements.
probably one of the best bad weather quarterbacks of all time, right?
Also, it should be
Has to
like
be.
this should be like perfect weather for both guys, right? I mean, this is like what 60 degrees maybe kickoff, 50 to 60 degrees kickoff time. Like, should be good. Should be good for both guys.
I want to see if we have any late breaking news. Always good to go to the old Shefty, Adam Schefter. While I'm trying to pull him up, Christian, will you be enjoying the weekend? Will you be watching the halftime show, or do you take halftime to, go to the bathroom, get a drink, load up on more food, or will you be engrossed in the halftime show?
No, I'm good with the halftime show. There's some that I'll watch. This one is not one of them. I'll be filling up on food probably, I would imagine. Food, alcohol, get a refresh, maybe bathroom break. And then by the time that's done, things will be back on track with the game.
Here's something from Schefter. Talk about whether this season was a success or not. We've seen in the NBA they had to escrow player salaries, meaning they're expecting losses. So we're going to offset that with player salaries. That way the salary cap can stay the same, so that teams can stay solvent and stay together. This from Adam Schefter just about 40 minutes ago. Though the NFL salary cap is not expected to be officially set until next month, league sources believe it will be roughly $180 to $181 million. Throughout the past season, many expected it to be around $175 million, but it's projected to come in slightly higher per sources. That is unbelievable, because you got no fans at most places.
Yeah.
We know that, in an election year of all years too, like viewership is usually down because of that, on top of how politicized everything's become around sports. And some people like it, some people don't. I'm actually frankly amazed that they made, it seems the money they made to not only just stay, but raise the salary cap.
Yeah, that's a good sign for the NFL, right? So, and obviously they're the only sport that have had minimal fans. So that at least helps. Look, it's not a ton, but it's something anyway. So that allows them to maybe, take that into account just a little bit. And then, yeah, it's a good thing for the NFL to be right at that 180 mark as opposed to dropping five or so million.
Yeah. Colin says he loves the weekend, so I assume he will be watching.
Me
I think
too,
it's funny.
Saturday, Sunday.
I'd say with the halftime show, this will be the first time in a while I'll be watching it back-to-back seasons, because usually, blessed New England fans that we were, watching the Patriots, usually halftime was an anxious period of time reserved for pacing,
It'll be like that for me.
and venting. So it's been a while since I got to enjoy the Super Bowl in total, and then the halftime show, especially back-to-back years. Unfortunate, but
halftime for me is like a background noise almost. Especially if the Patriots were in it, and now that
last
Brady's
year
in
wasn't
it,
though. Did you
No.
you watch last? Come on,
Yeah, I watched last year. Yeah.
Shakira.
But overall, it's just like it's kind of the background. I get more food, I do other things, and then I'll listen to it, watch a little bit, whatever I'm there for. But overall, it's not like the main attraction to me. So I want to watch the game, and especially since Brady's in it, and I feel like I got that anxious feeling for him to win another. It's not going to be an easy halftime show as if nothing's happened.
Yeah. So it really seems like there's no big news, though a lot of stuff still swirling about this trade with Carson Wentz. It would seem the Bears are going to be the destination for him. Little bit of tidbit about the Stafford trade was that I guess initially the Lions wanted Aaron Donald, and the Rams told them no. So that's how they reworked their negotiation. The next kind of shoe to fall here, Wentz goes. There's this standoff now with Deshaun Watson and the Houston Texans. There's talks that he could just hold out, that he should just hold out. Should Deshaun Watson do that? Should he just hold out and not play a year? If they decide that they don't want to trade him, or they can't get what they want from him, should they just call the bluff and say, "We want you to play, you're under contract. If you want to play, we're fining you and blah, 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 and try and force him to come play for them. What should happen there in Houston?
To be honest, I can't really formulate any thoughts right now. I'm more like, I don't really care until Brady wins the Super Bowl. So initially, I'll just say, I have no idea. If I'm the Texans, I'd probably just grant him his wish and trade him. Now, I don't like the idea of all these players getting what they want all the time and controlling the sport, kind of like the NBA. Like you just go wherever you say I want to go. But in the NFL, I don't know. I think Watson's in the right here. Now, I will say I don't think he should have signed the damn contract. But if he wants to go elsewhere, you could get a haul for him, especially after Stafford's deal and everything like that. So I would just grant him his wish and try to get as much as you can. Now, if you're not getting the maximum value, then sure, go ahead and hold out, man. I don't know. Like, I think it's on Watson to decide kind of what he wants if they don't end up trading him. So if he wants to hold out, hey, that's his prerogative, I guess.
Yeah. If Brady wins tonight, I think we both agree. I think he's the greatest of all time right now. Win or lose tonight, that won't change. It probably could for some people who are dumb. But Brady wins. Argument's over, right? Like there's absolutely nothing he could go out next year and completely suck. And there's nothing that can be done to taint or touch his legacy. No. And if he wins 7 Super Bowls, will it be impossible? Will it almost be like how nobody really can touch Michael Jordan if you want to look at dominance and winning? And then obviously guys like Bill Russell who won 11. Will it never be done? Will no one ever touch Tom Brady ever again if he wins the Super Bowl?
I don't know if anyone will get to his level, but records are made to be broken. I mean, look, like Mahomes is already in his second in 3 years of being a starter. So look, if there's anybody to do it, it would be that guy. But it's really hard to sustain that level. Like if Mahomes gets a second and then says, a lot of guys say, "Well, I got my championships, so what more do I have?" No, Brady was the guy that pushed the envelope and just wanted to get more and more and more. The next one was always the most important. I don't know if there's going to be another guy that's wired like that to get to that level. I mean, he's been half his career has been Super Bowls pretty much. Like, just think of that. That's insane. So he really has nowhere to go but up. I think anybody that says because he's lost in the Super Bowl, that ruins his I think that's just ridiculous, and that's just internet trolls and whatever else. But the guy at this point is the greatest of all time, and that's not as a Patriots fan. That is just strictly as if you look at as an NFL fan. The guy is doing something that probably will never be done in terms of he won 3. And now he's winning 3 and potentially 4, and he's going to beat a 10. I mean, that's just insane. So, I don't know. If you're trying to argue the other side, I don't have time for you. I'll just say that. Like, that is the ridiculous argument is, well, he got there, but he lost. Yeah, but he got to 10. You know how hard it is to go back to back? Nonetheless,
yeah.
Like he's been to back to back.
Now he's guys like Aaron Rodgers who have only been to 1. Drew Brees who have only been to 1.
10. And he's played the NFL 21 seasons. It's just ridiculous.
Is he, and this can be a bigger debate to have after the game, but just kind of your initial thought, outside of just quarterback, is he the best NFL player ever?
Just in terms of how important the position is, yeah, I'd say so. I mean, look, you have to have other pieces around you. Don't get me wrong. But to think of what this guy did, he left the team that he's been with for 20 years. He went to a completely new team, new coach, new teammates, and he's elevated this team to be in the Super Bowl. Now, is it all him? No, I don't think that's fair to say to the other guys and the coaches, but he elevates your team to a level that can get to this point, right? Last year, this Tampa Bay that was loaded was 7-9 because of the quarterback, right? Brady elevates you that much more where now you're in the Super Bowl and you're playing at a pretty good clip here. Will you beat the Chiefs? I have no idea. I hope so, but I'm picking the Bucs either way. But it's going to be a tough go. But just think of that. I mean, he's been with one team for 20 years, and now he's with Tampa for 1 year, and here he is in the Super Bowl again.
Nick chimes in the comment section. I saw a statistic that said Tom Brady is more likely to win a Super Bowl than Steph Curry is to hit a 3-point shot. If he wins today, that is correct.
Yep. That's the level of
Actually, it
of
might be
greatness.
it might be correct already. I mean, 6-4. I'm terrible. It's 60%, right? So I guess win or lose. Steph Curry's 3-point shooting percentage is probably 40 something. He's probably just as likely to make the Super Bowl, right?
I mean,
10?
that is a ridiculous statistic, but let's not forget
Tom
Curry has
Brady-
got, like,
Tom Brady-
1,000 threes.
Tom Brady makes the Super Bowl more often than Steph Curry is more likely. This is how statistics can really screw, right? There's lies, there's dirty lies. There's no good rotten lies, there's no good dirty rotten awful horrific lies, and then there's statistics. Statistics can say whatever you want to make them say. But the fact is Tom Brady is more likely to make the Super Bowl than Steph Curry is to make a 3-point shot.
Yeah, but he's also more likely to make a Super Bowl than I am to, like, throw a grape in the air and catch it in my mouth. Like, you can do any statistic you want. Let's not forget Steph Curry takes like 4 million threes a game. But I will say, just in terms of that is the type of statistic that just brings you to a level with Tom Brady that, like, if you're not rooting for the greatness of the player, I just can't help you. I don't know.
Yeah, agreed. So I think that is going to do it. We are both on board. We are both picking the Buccaneers to win. I said 35-28. Do you want to put a score to this, Christian?
28-27 Bucks.
Ooh, 1-point game. How do you see that? Is that like a hang on at the end? Is that a field goal to win? Is that
That's
touchdown?
Gonna be, I think Brady gets the ball last and drives him down there and gets in range.
Oof.
And unfortunately,
All right.
he doesn't have Vinatieri, but I think that's good enough this year. So,
All right. So that's going to do it for this edition of the show, the live edition of the 360 Sports Show. We're live every Sunday starting at 11 a.m. This has been our Super Bowl preview as well. This episode of the show will be available as a podcast through Sounder FM immediately following the conclusion of this live stream. And we will be live tomorrow, special edition of the show at 7:30 p.m. We'll be pushing that out through social media as well, so making sure that nobody misses it. If you didn't get to jump in with a question or a comment, actually last year before we go, Colin says, when you've nearly doubled your comparative predecessor, Montana's championships, it matters little what the number is in the loss column. Tom Brady is the GOAT. He also says 35-32 win. And a little love from Salve Athletics here through Twitch. Special edition on Monday. So yes, tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. on all the platforms live, we will have the 360 Sports Show Super Bowl reaction. Send us questions, comments throughout the night. After the Super Bowl as well, you can email the show at the360sportshow@gmail.com to reach us before the live stream tomorrow. Join us on that live stream for our Super Bowl reaction. Hope it's a great game. Hope you guys stay healthy and safe. You know, the whole Super Bowl parties thing, we're not doing it. I'm sure you aren't either, Christian, but if you're out there, wear a mask. Stay safe, keep your distance, all that stuff.
Get your food and your beer. That's all that matters.
Load up on the food. Load up on the food and the beer, and don't leave your couch.
And
Don't
forget the most notable thing that we can leave you with here today is go Bucks, go.
That guy over there. Oh, I'd have to expand real quick.
Other way. There you go.
Rooting for that guy.
And on your left.
Rooting for that guy, and that guy. Still counts here. I think if Brady wins, it only improves upon what he did here in New England. So
100%.
So the only one person who can hurt is Belichick, but I don't care about that. So
go Tampa.
Anyway, yes, agreed. Go Tampa. Everybody, take it easy. Enjoy the game, and we'll see you tomorrow night, 7:30, Super Bowl reaction. Take it easy, everybody.